I'm Betty Swan, and welcome to our show, Wisdom in the Night, where you get help for those tough decisions in your life. Tonight, we have a dynamic duo. They are both radio hosts. He is a DJ producer and an event director. She is also a certified spiritual coach. So please welcome Michael Crespo and Kristina Bonhomme. Thank you for being on this show.
Thank you.
This is just great. I know people are going to enjoy getting to know you. And I want to know about you. To kind of tell me about your background.
My parents are from Puerto Rico, and I was born and raised in New York. And
what part of New York?
Bronx.
Okay.
Bronx, Willis Avenue, 3rd Avenue.
All right.
And I was raised there, and then from there we moved to 98th Street and Lexington Avenue in Manhattan.
Yeah.
And
you still live there?
No, I do not live there. I actually live now in the Bronx.
Okay.
I live in the Bronx. Before that, I was in Florida, in Coral Springs, for 5 years with my wife and my family. And now I'm in the Bronx.
So what do you do for an occupation all this time? Have you been always done the same thing?
No, actually, I auto parts specialist. I used to be an auto parts counter person and also a security guard. And as I did the auto parts, I realized what
Stole a few of them, and then
I kind of discovered what I loved, and I discovered my gift, and the rest was history. And then from there, I went into playing music and producing music, and I'm always balancing between music and being a husband, and also, working as a security event officer during the day. And life is.
What does that mean, a security event officer?
We secure special events, like for, I would say, Google special events, parties.
Oh.
So I'm a fire guard officer.
Yeah.
So, like when you see on TV the celebrities and you see the security officers in black suit, that's basically
you?
what we do, yes.
I guess you get around a lot of celebrities then, huh?
Yes.
Name a few.
Yes.
Yeah, name some.
Kanye West, Kim Kardashian, Rihanna.
Madonna.
Quite a few. No, actually, Madonna had an event, and she didn't show up, but we run into a lot of different celebrities, and it's great. It's very rewarding.
It's exciting too, isn't it?
Yeah, it's exciting because it's not the same, and it's different every single time, and every event is different, and you get to meet a lot of different people and speak to a lot of different people.
And so you watch for the fire part of it, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Well, you know about that nightclub? Remember that a couple of years ago in Florida, and the whole roof caved in because they didn't take care of the fire prevention and all of that?
Yes.
That's kind of what you do?
Kind of what we do. So if there's a fire or there's a smoke, we get to call the fire department and alert people. And it's a responsible job, but sometimes people get really comfortable in that position and they don't pay attention. But that's what we do. We make sure that there's no fire, and we take the people to safety to get them out of the building safe.
Have you ever been through one that happened like that where it's real scary?
No.
You just really watch it carefully.
Yeah, we really watch it carefully. That has never happened. And
yeah, well, okay, so tell me about you.
Well, I am Dominican. My parents are both Dominican. I was born here. I am a born and raised New Yorker all my life. I had absolutely no idea that Mike actually lived in the Upper East Side when I grew up for the majority of my life on the Upper West Side.
How funny. On what street?
94th and Broadway.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was such a privilege.
Well, I understand that.
Yeah.
That's up in my neighborhood.
Yeah. I love that neighborhood.
I know.
And my dad was the superintendent, so we didn't pay any rent.
Yeah. At 94th and Broadway.
94th and
Okay, I know right where that is.
Yeah.
I lived at 96 and Central Park West, and then 97th and CPW, and now I'm at 100 and CPW. So what people don't realize, there's people watching this show all over the world.
Yeah.
They just see New York and they think of those big tall buildings, and they don't realize New Yorkers don't look up.
Yeah.
They just live on the ground, right? And you don't look up. But they don't, I think people don't realize that New York City is neighborhoods.
Yes.
Every neighborhood, when you've moved into a different neighborhood, just walking down the street, it's like
It's
you know, that
different.
feeling. It's just different.
The communities is all different.
Yeah, it is.
From
And that's
one neighborhood to another, it just changes.
Yeah, just a few streets over, and it's like you're in another place, right?
You are so right.
All right, so you grew up on 94th and Broadway, and then what?
And my background is I am a hospitality manager by day and a entrepreneur by night. And so I'm a spiritual certified coach, and I just love to help people. And
Well, now, what do you mean by hospitality? What was it you said, hospitality, what, during the day?
Hospitality manager.
Okay, like at a restaurant, or?
As a matter of fact, at a hedge fund. So that's what I do to pay bills, but I'm actually a coach.
Oh, and so you are a person that has a daytime career in order to do what you really love to do, right?
Yes.
So first of all, give me a little understanding at what do you do as a hospitality director, whatever.
For a hospitality manager, I pretty much make sure everyone's happy in the building, and so I work with a bunch of at a hedge fund, majority men, and stocking up everything, making sure that there's coffee and all different sorts of.
Well, they're under a lot of pressure,
Right.
and I'm sure you see it, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Right. I mean, everybody knows what it's like and how you hear about it, or else you're a part of it and you know it.
Completely.
And you're right there.
Yes, I am. With
Seeing
a smile
it.
on my face.
Yes.
Catering.
Here's a piece of advice. See, this is an advice show, a wisdom show. What piece of advice would you give someone that has to work right now around people who are under a lot of pressure? They have a high pressure job. They could put the pressure on you, or you could have your own bad day.
Right.
But your job requires that you're the one that keeps them going. What advice would you give somebody? How do you do that?
Well, what's been working for me, or my journey, where I'm at now in my life, is I've actually been praying a lot. But even before that, I've done a lot of personal development, which is how I became a coach, and affirmations, being clear on how you're going to start your day.
Like what? Give an example.
I was going to give you an example.
sorry, okay.
No, I'm happy you asked. There was one employee that I had that always had like a specific face on every morning that he wasn't really happy. And so I'm the type of person that my parents raised me this way, always saying good morning. So I would say good morning to him, but he always had this grumpy face. And so I knew that I was going to get him to crack and break. And so every morning I'd smile and I'd say, like with a pep in my step, and say good morning. And he just sometimes would grunt, but never said good morning. Until I finally broke him, and he actually, well, not broke him, but
I know what you mean.
got through to him, and he actually he starts to say good morning, and I say good morning to him every day now, and he smiles at me, asks me how I am.
Did you know there is a proverb in the Bible that talks about that? It says a soft answer, I believe, can wear someone down just like you could wear a bone down. I don't quite remember all of it, but it is talking about that. The soft answer will turn away wrath. The soft answer will wear somebody down if you're just patient.
Right.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, choosing love. Yeah, choosing love. However challenging it could be. I mean, he's one of the top guys at my job, but he now speaks to me, and it's definitely rewarding to see that transformation.
Well, how did you get in the spiritual coach? What does that even mean?
So a spiritual coach, what God has been speaking to me about is really supporting people to find their peace in life. And so believe it or not, as a New Yorker, I was a very angry person.
Really?
Very.
It's hard to believe it now. Oh, you knew her when she was...
I didn't have that
But
opportunity.
he's been in the car with me, and I'm still working on my road rage. So-
Yeah, and I'm like, there's no reason. You can't control anything. God is in control. Just be patient in the car.
So it works.
But see, he's doing to you what you did to your boss.
Exactly. But I appreciate
And by the
it so
way,
much.
our audience needs to know right away, you're not married to
No.
each other, but you are married.
Yes, we
Yes,
are.
we are
And
married.
and your working relationship is on the up and up.
Yes,
Yes,
it is.
Okay,
yes.
all right,
Yes,
keep
it is.
going.
Yeah. So I pretty much do a lot of transcendental meditation, which is something that I teach. I teach people about affirmations, the importance of knowing that you're going to have a good day because you said so. And there's a lot of power in that. And so this is all God. God has really been leading and showing me the way. I've always been very opinionated. And so now I've been able to, turn all of my pain and all of my anger into something positive.
Now, did you take a class in that? Did you
I
learn?
did, which is how I met Mike. We did a personal development workshop. Yeah.
In the Bronx, or
Right here in Manhattan. Yeah.
54th Street.
how long ago was that?
For me, that was actually 2012,
And for me, it was about 2 months ago.
which is how I began coaching Mike.
Yeah, she was coaching me.
Yeah.
And I saw her energy, and I was like, I have this idea that I want to speak to the world and make it a better place. And would you be interested in doing this podcast with me? She's like, sure. But I really didn't believe her. And I was like, and then she's like, when are you going to ask me? I said, no, I really would like to do it. And then now, from her coaching me, now I'm getting to see where she needs support in her
Yes.
life. So we're
Yeah.
kind of supporting each other spiritually. We go to church sometimes together, and it's a beautiful thing. God is great.
Well, and you know what you're saying is she influenced you, but I've listened to your podcast. He's really like the leader. I
Yes,
mean,
he is.
he's very strong.
Yes, he is.
And what he has to say is excellent.
He pushes me all the
He
time.
does.
Yes, he does.
Like I said, God can move mountains. I'm a powerful DJ where I can make you dance, cry, sing, laugh, and I'm a motivator, and that's what I do. But just recently, I decided not to work in the clubs for 2 years, and I work on private events, but I want to use my voice now to inspire others, motivate others, and speak the word of God, because now I learned that when I speak, people listen.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yes.
There are some people, Mike, that they just have like a charisma, or they have they don't even realize they're doing it, but there's something about them, and they can even be kind of laid back. But there's something about them that when they talk, people want to do what you say they ought to do. Are you like that?
Yes,
Yes,
like I
yes.
said, in the clubs, I was like that, and now I'm realizing as I'm posting videos and talking on this podcast, people are coming like, I felt depressed. I didn't feel like I want to live, and your word and just listening to you guys made my day. And now I'm realizing this is powerful. Just being yourself and being authentic, it's powerful. And now I'm understanding the power. And now I feel like I'm not using this power to be selfish. I'm using it for the rest of the world, and it's not about me.
Oh gosh, isn't that beautiful?
Yes, it is.
Well, now I want to ask you another thing though. What I said, there's something in you that you're not trying to portray. It is you. It's your essence, you could call it.
Yes.
What would you describe it as?
I would describe it as it is me, but I've been putting it under the rug for some time because I was wearing a mask before, which was, this DJ mask and making believe I'm somebody that I'm not. And now that I believe that God is in control, there is no mask, and now the real me is coming out. And
Probably more powerful than even the other one.
no, it is, for me, it's more powerful because it's not about me this time around.
I got some of the best advice I'd ever gotten when I was getting ready to step out as an international speaker and go around the world. And you think, oh gosh, I hope I'm good. I hope I portray myself like I ought to. And a man came to me and said, Betty, when you're the most completely natural, God will be the most supernatural through you.
Wow.
So see, you can want to be supernatural. You mean you want to communicate this, you want to be powerful, blah, 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 blah. But really, that's not how it works. How it works is you just be yourself and you trust God to be Himself, and He will be able to flow through you quicker and easier. Do you agree with that?
We do.
You're not stopping Him. You're not stopping Him in any way.
And that's exactly what we've learned in the workshops that we did together. It's a formula called Be, Do, Have. Who do you get to be, and what do you get to do to have what it is that you want?
Wow, that's great. Now explain that a little bit better.
Sure. So what you were referring to was you just being authentic, being you, being Betty, or being
Whoever.
myself, right? And so in you just being who you are, accepting who you are, you get a chance to just create what it is that you want. So you're in action, but it's still you. It's the real you.
The authentic, huh?
Right. And so it gives you the clarity to understand, okay, what do I have to do now, right? And then if your goal is to have, like, for example, if I want to be a lawyer, I get to be responsible, right? And I get to go to school. That's the doing, right? And then what do you get to have? You get to be a lawyer.
You get to be what you wanted to be.
Exactly.
Wow, that's beautiful. Well, when I listened to this podcast, when I was just trying to find out about y'all, what is this thing you were talking on there about self-talk? Because I think pretty much everybody watching this show talks to themselves in their head. And it can be good and it can be bad. But what do you call it? What was that all about that you were talking about?
This conversation that we have within ourselves.
Yeah.
And then we kind of talk ourselves out into doing something. And the only thing that's stopping us from creating or doing anything is ourselves. So we get in the way of ourselves, and then we start doubting ourselves. We're not good enough. I don't look the part. I can't do it. But if you can just believe and trust in God that you can do it and you will do it, then that talk can just be over.
All right, but like, let's say it's there. You're getting ready to go do something, and you think, "Who am I?" Because I can remember the first time I took a team of people to the nation of Belarus. They had just come out from under communism, and there was a struggle. I went 11 times in 8 years. I'm telling you the truth. Every single time, I'm the leader, and in my head, I kept thinking, I'm not a good enough leader. Somebody else could have done a better leader. I can stick my foot in my mouth. I can not be as organized as I ought to be. I'm forgetful. I started thinking of all of the reasons why I wouldn't be the best one for the job. And all the time, God had chosen me to do the job. So I want to know what you would tell somebody like me to do.
Be in action. Just do it, and know that you are enough, and that God gave you a purpose, and that's why you're there, and that's why you're the leader, and you will make it happen to your ability. And don't have that conversation with yourself that I'm not sure. I would have the same conversation with my co-host. I don't think I speak proper English 100%. She's like, no, Mike, just be you.
Oh yeah, people are so interested in your podcast is alive.
Thank you.
And you're laughing and you have joy and you're just drawn
But that's what
into
life is about.
Yeah. Well, now how did you get a close personal walk with the Lord?
I got a close personal walk with the Lord. I was a Catholic for many years when I was younger, and I was an altar boy, but I didn't really understand baptism and all this stuff. And then as I moved to Florida, my wife is a Christian. She was like, I want you to come to this church. And I went to a Christian church, and I was like, this is not for me. They're trying to sell me books. They're making all this money. I don't want to be in this church. She's like, Mike, but just accept it. And I didn't. And then she said, I'm going to get saved at the beach. Can you come? I said, no, I'm not going. I don't believe in that stuff. And she came back to my job and bought a cake for all my workers, said, listen, I'm going to get baptized. Here's a cake.
Oh, baptized.
Baptized. And I was like, oh my God. Okay, great. And I tore it down. And then when we came back to New York, tuned into Joel Osteen, and I was like really attracted to what he was saying and the message about God, and looked on the website, found Every Nation Church, and I found my walk, and it was my calling, because I was like, I can't find the church that makes me feel at home. And there was something about Every Nation Church that it made me feel like I belong, and that's when I knew that I have found God. And I was going to church not because my mom wanted me to go, because I had to. I felt because it was a spiritual calling, and it was a relationship I was building with God. With Jesus. And now I faithfully go all the time because I have an amazing relationship with Jesus.
Wow. How'd you get yours?
As a matter of fact, I had always asked God, and similar to Mike, Joel Osteen always likes to say, find yourself a good Bible-based church. And so a friend of mine invited me to her church, and I was totally just so attracted to this church that I believe I was saved from depression. I had always suffered from depression, and that self-talk, once again, that was, I even had the suicide talk in my head, never any attempts, but
a lot of people have that.
And it's terrible. I mean, really just feeling like you're not enough, like you don't matter. I mean, what helped me was literally like, I don't even know what would come over me, but as a child, like I would have to really look at myself in the mirror and tell myself that I was beautiful, that I mattered. And those were the moments when I think back now that I'm older and I can think back on it, is that was God really just supporting me. Because I can't even imagine where I would have wound up or what I would have ended up doing with my life. But rejection was always something so big in my life, and so it caused a lot of depression. I never forget when I graduated from college. It was a tough year. It was 2008, and it was just a lot of loneliness, a lot of just me feeling like I wasn't worthy of anything. And as soon as I started going to this church, all of a sudden, I was free. I felt freedom, and it was just...
You know, that's Jesus.
Yes.
He set you free.
Yes, that's exactly, and I could feel it inside of me. It was something beautiful. I still go to...
What would you say to someone who says, I don't believe in organized religion?
I too feel that I don't believe in religion. For me, it's about faith. And what faith has done for me is that I could actually hear God. God truly talks to me. Mm-hmm. And it's all through my journey in life.
But you're still saying you didn't believe in organized religion, but then you found a church that you love.
Yes, I do.
And it changed you and set you free.
Yes, it did.
So what would you tell someone who says, how do you find a church like that?
I say that the church really finds you.
Yes.
And you got to be...
You do? You say that too, Mike?
Yes.
Yeah, you got to be open to it. Like just how Mike was describing, he was really resistant towards it until he actually just gave in. And, that's been the story in my life. It's always, nothing ever happens for nothing. There's always a reason behind it. And so that's exactly what this church has led me to, where I was a Catholic, baptized Catholic, and I had absolutely no idea what Jesus was about or what, like walking with God was like.
Yeah, you just needed some knowledge, didn't
Exactly.
you? You know, there's a Bible verse that said, my people perish with a lack of knowledge, for a lack of knowledge. If you don't have it and you say, I'm not getting near that organized religion, and then there's some answers there that are the very thing you've been looking for, you go, oh, where's it been all my life? Or how come I'm so stupid?
That's how I felt about opening the Bible.
Yes.
I said, it took me all these years. It's here. This is the blueprint to life. And then as I read it, I got so attracted. I was like, what have I been doing all these years? And I've been fighting and struggling with myself. And now it's like, this is beautiful. This is life-changing. And even when I was searching for a church, I went to 4 different places. And you know when Jesus is talking to you and you're like, okay, this is family.
This is it. Yeah. So really, you got to get out and seek.
You do.
Seek
You know, even though when you get there, you find out God was bringing you to it, but you don't know that until you get out and seek, and then you find out you got found.
That's
Yeah.
Right?
And you don't, sometimes you can't explain it, you don't know how, but
Here we go.
here we go.
Well, now let me ask you one other thing. If you were going to give a piece of advice to somebody watching, and now I want you to think about your individual lives. You've kind of been very honest, very transparent, and I really appreciate that because I know the people watching are. But let me hear some advice you would have, you know, just based on where you've come from and where you are now. And somebody's looking at you going, Mike, you're me. Kristina, you're me. Mm-hmm. What do I do? What would you say to do?
Seek for support. Look for a church. Look for a community. And don't do it alone. Jesus is real. And have a relationship with Jesus. Let him talk to you. But also seek fellowship and talk to other people, Christian, non-Christians. Just get in the action because you're going to talk to yourself all the time. And I'm afraid to do it. I don't want to get in a group with a lot of men. Just go out there because support is real and love is real and Jesus is real. And let him do his work. And
Okay, now what would you say?
I would say, similar to Mike, ask for help. Really, there's so much help out there. And know that...
Ask till you find the help that helps you.
Completely.
That's what I think. Ask till you find the help that helps you. Even counseling, if the first counselor doesn't help you, get another one. It's not the end of the world.
That's right.
Well, now you guys have a podcast.
Yes.
And is it every day?
every Monday.
Yes.
Every Monday.
Every Monday.
And you broadcast out of the Bronx.
Yes, we broadcast out of the Bronx.
But can people all over the world listen
All
to
over
it?
the world. You can get on iTunes. You can get on Google Play. It's all over the world. Funny.
What's the name of it?
Life is Now.
Okay, folks, do you hear that? You can listen to this couple. Now, you can't get any more real than they've been. They just laid it out. But don't you love that? Don't you love people like that? They're my favorite kind of people. So get in on this podcast. You could listen to it every Monday. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. It wasn't an accident that you turned on the TV and came to this station. I hope you received some wisdom and that you have a great rest of the night, whether you're going to sleep or you're going to work. I'll see you next time. Bye.